Now listen, there's a story in the Bible, in Luke chapter 14, that Jesus tells. He calls it a parable. Now a parable is nothing more than a story that would explain a spiritual truth. So it's a story, it could happen, but it wasn't necessarily a true story about something that God is trying to get us to understand. That's what a parable is. And Jesus starts telling a parable called the Great Banquet Parable. Let's say that together. Let's say the Great Banquet Parable. Yeah, the Great Banquet Parable. And it talks about a master who is going to throw this huge party. Now, how many guys love going to parties? I love going to parties. I'm sure you do too. And he throws this huge party, and it's time for the party, and the seats aren't full. They didn't show up. Some of his friends came, but very few did. And the master is a little bit upset. And he goes to the servants, and he says, "Where's everybody at? It's time to start. Go out and make sure they know it was tonight, and it's starting right now." So they go out and they said, "Master, we did that, and the seats are still empty. The seats are not all full yet." So he says, "Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go out and find all the blind, the lame, the crippled, all those people that most people want nothing to do with. Go get them, because I want all my seats full." So they went, the servants went out, and they went here and there. They knocked on doors. They went down the alleys. They went to the grocery store, and they pulled in everybody they could that would come that nobody else wanted. And they went to the master. They said, "Master, there's still room. We went and got as many people as we could, and there's still seats left." The master was a little bit upset, and he said, now listen. Go into the highways, the byways, the hedges, go way out. Get out of town, go to places most people don't go to, and compel them. Or in other words, get them, beg them, tell them to come. And say, "There's room, there's a seat for you at the great banquet table." So the servants did what the master said, and the banquet was full, and they had a great party. Now, in this story, this parable, Jesus is the master, and the servants are you and I. And Jesus tells them 3 times to go and get people. Go and get the people that were already invited. Well, they did, and there were still people that didn't come. There were still seats open. Then they went to go get the people that nobody else cared about. That was the second time. So they went out and got all the people that nobody cared about. And then the third time, Jesus said, don't just ask them to come, get them to come. Beg them to come. Get them here to the party. Now, every single Sunday here at Victory Kids, we have services. And there are right now next to you, maybe it's on your right, there's an empty seat. Maybe on your left, there's an empty seat. Maybe in front of you or maybe behind you, there's an empty seat. And what this parable, this story that Jesus told in Luke 14 teaches us is that you and I have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to fill these seats, to tell people about Jesus' love, and we can bring them to the party, to the Victory Kids party. And they can hear, maybe for the first time, about the love of Jesus. Now, this month, we've been talking about Isaiah chapter 6, verse 8, where Isaiah said, God, I know you're looking for people. Here am I. Send me. I'll go. And we've been saying every single week, our prayer is going to be, God, use my life to change the life of others. You may not, in your life, change the life of thousands or tens of thousands or millions of people. But maybe God would ask you to fill one seat next to you. Maybe God would ask you to get one seat and fill it up. Not 100 seats and maybe not even 2 seats, but next week or the week after, could you bring one person to fill 1 seat? Will you say like Isaiah said, Lord, here am I, send me. God, I choose to let you use my life to change the life of others by filling just 1 seat.